Good morning, residents. It is Monday, July 20th. It's our 59th day of making art together. Welcome back to this week. I hope you had a fabulous weekend. It was very, very warm, but very beautiful. Great summer weekend. Hope you got a chance to enjoy it in some way. This week's theme, because we're working on summer themes now, is circles. We're going to be making art about lots of different circle motifs that show up in the world and in our lives, and just different processes in art media. So today we are working with cross sections of trees. Now I find this really exciting because trees have lots of texture. When you take a cross section of a limb or an old tree that has died or being chopped down. So these are from different limbs. I have some here that I've used before, and we're going to print them. Now I know that you probably don't have this material at home, but you can use so many things for printmaking. You could take a plastic fork and dip it into paints and use that. You can cut a potato and cut a design into it. If you have the means, you can do some block printing. Now, I don't like these blocks necessarily because they're tough to use, but there are some really nice products on the market, art market, that are really soft and they're very smooth. And the likelihood of me using this and using a lino cut tool and cutting myself is pretty good. But the softest butter ones work really great, and I don't have any on hand at the moment. But if you love printmaking as much as I do, you'll want to give it a try in some form. I also love to use, I don't think I have any on hand today, I love to use styrofoam containers. Maybe that vegetables come in, or fruit, you know, the fruit is packed on it and then cellophane around it or saran wrap around it. I don't ever use meat packaging foam trays, you know, they're just too dangerous to use in terms of passing on E. coli and different kinds of disease. But anything where vegetables, I wash them out really good with soap and hot water, or fruit, and I love to cut them out then because they've got that lip around the edge, and I love to draw into them, maybe with like the scratch out art tools I used last week. So something like a skewer, not poking all the way through it, but just creating that impression in it, then rolling it with ink or paint, and then printing it. So that's the theme of today. We're using circles, cross sections of trees, and we're going to print them. I'm going to print them. So I've got a brayer here, or a roller. I've got some newspaper. I've got 3 different colors of ink. This is printing, block printing ink. I got black, blue, and red. And if I haven't said it before, and I know that I have, but to say it again, Lynn's art store on Odana is fabulous. The prices are, you know, like any art store prices, they're, you know, art store prices. But they've got some really fabulous things, and they're really excellent to work with. And they will do curbside delivery for anyone. I've also seen them do delivery right here to Oakwood. So, might be a possibility if you're looking for some art supplies. And I know they have, I bought these there, so I know they have printmaking supplies. Somewhere in all of our supplies, I found this wonderful printmaking paper. I think the price on it said like $1.98 for like 50 sheets of it. So I know that this is probably about 30 or 40 years old because you couldn't find paper like that today. So it's block printing paper, works really nice. It's got texture in it. It's some kind of recycled paper or handmade paper because it's got a lot of fiber in it. So I'm going to first start with my little one that's never been used to see if I can get some texture in it. I'm going to put my black ink right on it, my printing ink right on it, and I'm going to roll it out. So I'm gonna find I'm gonna need a little bit more. Lay it down on the newspaper, try to get a better roll of it. Now the great thing about printmaking is that whatever you print, you can clean up the object that you're using for the printmaking process. You can clean it up and reprint it over and over in different prints. And that's what you'll find printmakers, artists who are printmakers, they might have like 1 of 200, 2 of 200. They make lots of copies of the same thing, but everyone is going to be just a little bit different because every time we print something, it's going to going to turn out a little bit different. So one way I could do this is I could print it right on the page, and I'll try that, but then I'll print it, try to print it again, and I'll lay it down and roll a brayer over it. So I'm going to put that there. And it's very, very subtle, you can see. But it does pick up all that texture. Now, I'm going to ink it again, and I wouldn't have to. I can just keep reprinting this. But I want to ink it again because I find that these pieces of tree soak up a lot of ink, and I want it to print a little bit better this next time around. So I'm going to move my supplies and my easel here, and I'm going to lay my paper down. In fact, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am going to lay my wood block down. I'm going to lay my paper down on top of it, and I'm going to take a clean brayer, and I'm going to roll it. Now this one does not want to roll. Does not want to roll the way the plastic one does, but I still get it to roll, giving pressure. In fact, what you'd want to have is a not a roller, but a big flat brayer where you could just press down on it. So I can just use my hands to do that as well. I'll peel this off, and there's my print. And that one turned out really lovely, I think. Okay, so now I'm going to try a big one. We did this in the fall in Covenant, and my husband prepared all of these cross sections of trees. So that's why these are stained red and black and blue, because we've done them before. Then I put them outside for the winter, and they started to lose their bark. So I'm going to try it on this side that hasn't been printed. I'm going to print it in red. So I know, again, once again, you may not, I'm not going to wash my roller here. I'm just going to end up with something that's black and red. I am rolling this out. Now, again, I know you don't probably have printmaking materials on hand. Think about how can you create the same effects? What might you have on hand? And if you have nothing on hand and you like the idea of printmaking, then let me know when you come into the studio. And the studio will be opening up again in August and September. So we'll have sign-up times to come in and work in the studio. So I really hope that you will. I would love to see each and every one of you and hear about what you're doing out there in your art making worlds. So here is the cross section. I'm going to do the same thing again. Instead of printing it this way, I'm going to take my easel away. I'm going to take my printmaking paper, lay it on top, and this time I'm going to use my hands, because that and arms, because that gives a lot of pressure. Might take a roller one, something that, okay, that one's going to roll. That's just to make sure my ink is really soaking into the paper and I'm getting all areas of it. And there's that print. And I'll print it one more time without re-inking it to see what the difference is. So I love printmaking. I love to make lino cuts, because lino cuts, you can make any kind of art image you want, and they turn out so exciting because you never know once you print them what really will happen, and so that can be really exciting. So if you are interested in printmaking, let me know, because I would love to help you with that. It's been a long time since I've done block cut or lino cut printmaking, and that would be very, very fun to do. So if anyone out there is interested too, let me know and we'll get working on it. Okay, bring my easel back here. There's my print from that one. Now these are cut a little bit more jagged. He used a chainsaw to cut these. This one was from Walnut Hollow in Dodgeville. You can see they used some kind of a very straight saw to cut it, so I get a nice straight pattern. With these I get a little more random and organic pattern because they're not straight across. So there's that. Here's my original print, and I think it's really fun. So I love to find pieces that are kind of different, odd shaped and print them. I think it leads to a lot of possibilities in texture and dynamic features in your art making. Okay, have a wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow for more circle art.